Thank you. All right, good evening. I'd like to call the Hebron Board of Education regular meeting of Wednesday, November 12th, 2025 to order. The time is 6 p.m. If we could do a roll call.
Kim Hills, board member.
Alanino Schmeisel, board member.
Sarah Coppolino, board secretary.
Heather Pettit, board chair.
Tom Baird, superintendent.
Nicole Matthews, board member.
Alicia LeMay, board member.
Cindy Houston, business manager.
Don Breer, Director of Educational Services.
Thank you. And we have Mrs. Ariano and Mr. Larkin with us, as well as Mr. McKinney. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you so much. All right, next we have recognition and student liaison report. So I believe we have new student liaison with us tonight, Zoe Leone. I don't know if you want to come up, Zoe, and join us, but we're really excited to have you here.
All right, and before Zoe gives a report, I'm going to ask Mr. Parks to come up and talk about the Kid Governor program and introduce Zoe to us.
Okay, great.
All right, hello board members. I'm here again, this time to present you with your 2025-2026 student liaison, Zoe Leone. And Zoe, as Dr. Baird just said, it was our Kid Governor nominee for Hebron. So each year we participate in the Connecticut Kid Governor program. This is only a 5th grade program. It's just for 5th graders across the state of Connecticut. And actually there are other states that do it, so there's talk of kind of bringing those states together and having a national program, but that's in the works. So this year we actually had our highest number of candidates in 5th grade. We had 13 candidates who were interested and wound up running for Kid Governor. Each candidate has to adopt a community issue, and then they develop a platform for that issue. And their platform is really 3 specific points that they can lead the charge on as the Kid Governor. So each of the candidates did that, and then what happens is we vote, and the entire 5th grade voted for their choice of these 13 candidates. No adults get to vote, and it's a real testament to not only Zoe's community issue and her platform, which you'll see in a moment. Mr. McKinney has her campaign video, but it's also a testament, I feel, to how her 5th grade peers view her. Because we talked about before voting, you want to select somebody who really is a leader, and sometimes that's hard for 5th graders. They know who their friends are, and we want to make sure it's not necessarily a popularity contest, but electing somebody who really is a true leader of the 5th grade, and that's Zoe this year. So I'm very happy to present her to you as your student liaison for this year.
And Zoe will be with us through next October. So
Great, we're happy to have you here.
all right, so do we want to show Zoe's video?
Yeah.
And then,
Let me move.
My name is Zoe Leone, and I'm a 5th grader from Connecticut. A little bit about me is that I love soccer, dance, and gymnastics, and I am very passionate about animals. Why am I so passionate about animals? Because there are so many different kinds of animals that have skills to help people, and they are always there to help you feel better. Animals are kind to people. Some of my experience helping animals include running lemonade stands to raise money and supplies, and for animal shelters, and a horse rescue program. I also volunteered at Dream Hill Farm to help horses, and I've also donated $200 to a therapeutic riding center. I've also done a dog walking service in my neighborhood. My idea for Kid Governor is to help the overfilled shelters and help animals without homes find good homes to go to. My supporters and campaign advisors are Nina Fitzgerald and Selena DiMaria. Thank you. Lastly, my ideas to help these animals in need of homes include run more lemonade stands to raise money and supplies for more animal shelters, collect cans and trade them to get more money to donate to shelters, run a community event to have people visit the animals needing to be adopted, volunteer time at shelters and farms to help the animals. You could also hang up signs around town telling people that there's too much overfilled shelters and to adopt animals. If you love animals and you like my ideas, you should vote for me, Zoe Leon, for Kid Governor. Also, these are my two puppies, Clifford and Rosie. They're so cute.
All right, Zoe, do you want to give your report and then we'll take a picture?
Yeah.
That was a great video.
Okay, so the pre-K update this week, pre-K students are learning about hibernation and animals adoptions with a visit from the Lutz Children's Museum. Kindergarten doesn't have one. First graders are building their phonics skills, learning about diagrams. They are learning about imagery, characters, building interest in humor, and fantasy writing. In math, they just completed a unit learning about fact families and story problems. Second grade students are finishing up a unit on life cycles of frogs and butterflies. Our third graders have wrapped up learning all about the Constitution and Congress as they've sharpened their nonfiction reading skills and have grown their vocabulary. They have also enjoyed exploring Roald Dahl's work with the BFG during the ELA block. We are also quite proud of all their hard work with being able to solve multi-digit addition and subtraction equations with a variety of efficient strategies. Fourth grade research teams are currently studying glaciers, erosion, earthquakes, volcanoes, rocks, and minerals. They're learning nonfiction reading strategies to help them identify the central idea of a text. In writing, students are brainstorming and drafting entries about issues that matter to them, like friendship, moving, and loss. Our current math unit focuses on adding and subtracting fractions. Fourth graders are doing an excellent job using number lines and models to show their mathematical thinking. Our fifth graders are taking all of their hard work learning how to interpret themes into their new book clubs. They are learning how to organize and hold images and meaningful conversations, where each voice and option is accepted and appreciated. Fifth graders writers are transitioning from their narrative unit into literary essays. In math, the focus is multiplying and dividing fractions. Students are doing a fantastic job in all of their subjects. Sixth graders are concluding their first reading unit, where they've explored how authors develop characters, settings, and themes through symbolization. and meaningful details. Next, the transition into nonfiction reading learning and learning strategies to determine central ideas, analyze structures, and evaluate an author's purpose. In their writing class, 6th graders are learning how to craft powerful personal narratives and vividly describing important moments in their life. They also concluded Unit 2 in Math, which focuses on ratios, teaching students how to understand, represent, and work with them. Key concepts include understanding ratios as an association between quantiles, representing them with diagrams, and exploring equivalent ratios through multiplication and division. The unit lays the founding for later topics like radius and proximal relationship. In Spanish class, each grade level is wrapping up their first unit of study. Grade 3 has finished the unit focused on Dia de Muertos. Grade 4 has worked to create descriptions of feelings for personality. Grade 5 has learned to provide detailed descriptions of their surroundings, including objects and location. Grade 6 is working to create menus based on different Spanish-speaking countries. In library media, 6th grade is finishing up an engineering opportunity, Pumpkin Chunkin. 5th graders are learning how to use their Gmail accounts to communicate with their teachers. 4th grade is practicing our OPAC Destiny, and 3rd grade is still learning their way around the library. Miss Finland is also working towards being the script spelling bee to HES. More information to follow. The October Cares focus was advocacy. Students practice advocacy for themselves and others with I statements in their Cares groups. At GHS, students are learning about different ways to show gratitude even when things are challenging. The HES course winter concert is scheduled for December 9th. The FPSers completed their first practice problem on invasive species. They will now turn to their attention to space exploration for practice problem 2. HES were visited by local veterans as part of the annual Veterans Day celebration on Friday, November 7th.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. You did a great job. Thank you so much. It was very informative.
All right, we're just going to do a quick photo opportunity.
Great
Zoe
job.
and Mr. Parks, would you want to come?
I mean, it's up to you, or if you want one for yourself. Okay. Thank you so much. Have fun tonight at basketball. All right, next on the agenda is food services, district advancement plan and food services.
All right, so we're going to have Lisa Bennett come up, and City Houston is going to also present. Our food service director had a family emergency, so she's not here tonight, but City is going to help present.
Oh, I'll move. I'll go by him.
All right, so as Dr. Baird said, we, our food service provider, actually I should grab my notes, but our consultant Christine Wallace, who is fabulous, and we greatly appreciate all that she's done for us. Unfortunately, had an emergency this evening, was not able to come, so you get me kind of as your second string, but I will let you know that food service and feeding our children is really important to me and always has been. So this is a very important presentation. The main reason that we're here today, and we appreciate the fact that you allow us to come and do this presentation, is that I think it's important that everybody understands the guidelines and nutritional restrictions and everything that our food service department has to deal with on a daily basis to make sure that our kids are being fed properly. They've done this presentation to the Wellness Committee before in the past, but I think it is important that anybody who is in the public gets a chance to take a look at it and see what's going on. You might be surprised by a number of regulations that are required for food services. A couple of things we want to, and let's see what I can move it this way, that we will be touching today, the challenges of our food service procurement, just getting the food in, or supplies and that sort of thing. The USDA and state of Connecticut require nutritional guidelines. The state of Connecticut has a much higher nutritional guideline requirement than the USDA does, so that's something that's important to understand. Our restrictions on meal patterns, which I'm just going to slightly tab on because that's something that Christine is much better at than I am, but I will definitely hit it. Scratch cooking, which is something that I know a lot of parents have asked about and talked about. What is it? What does that mean? And what would it be for us if we were possibly able to do that right now, and why that might be a challenge? Any areas of room for improvement? We always are looking for rooms for improvement. We would like to increase participation, of course. And then there were some questions that were posed to us earlier, so they had an opportunity, Christine and Lisa had an opportunity to answer some of those questions. So Lisa's going to jump in whenever I say something I'm not supposed to say. So. The first thing we want to talk about is procurement, and basically the difference between your family kitchens and our family kitchen, and our school kitchens, I should say. As you all have probably noticed, your food groceries have gone up considerably over the last couple of years. So have ours. So our food cost is extremely high, just like yours is. We do have the additional cost of having to have all of our food delivered. So we have, in addition to the regular pricing, we also have to worry about things like gas prices. We have to worry about whether or not the truck is going to run. And we do what we call a full truck issue. So sometimes if there aren't enough people in the area all buying something, they may not necessarily show up at our doors. So, or they may not be able to do this. So there are discontinued items that are on the rise. Sometimes they substitute items that we didn't request. Again, everything is USDA, but sometimes it may not be what we originally requested. So sometimes the menu that you get at home may not be necessarily the menu that ends up at the door that day. The USDA does, all of our food has to follow USDA recommendations. For some of you may not know, we have, the USDA has a very strict Buy American plan, and we do have requirements. I would love to tell you exactly what it is. I believe it's about 51% of our purchases have to be have to be American grown and distributed. That is actually going to change to 65% by the end of 2027. And then there's a lot of delivery dates and time inconsistency. Again, it comes to the same problem that everybody else is having, is there's not a lot of truck drivers out there, and there's not a lot of deliveries, and they're having the same issues that we are for staffing. Some of the differences between us and what you serve at home. We are required for USDA standards and regulations. Everything has to be done through the USDA and approved by the USDA. We are audited. We used to be audited every 3 years. We're now audited every 5. Hebron went through their audit, and I'll touch base on this in a little bit, but they went through their audit in 2024. 2025, sorry, 2025. Our products are developed and manufactured to meet USA guidelines. I'm going to drink water. I apologize. And they are not the same versions of what you buy in the grocery stores. So the cereal that you buy at home or at the grocery store is not the same cereal. I apologize. As what you get at the schools. You might have to take over. Sorry. We have much more reduced sugar and sodium and whole grain rich breads and grains. We also have reduced fat items. So even something as simple as yogurt, it is not the same yogurt that you would buy at the grocery store. I can do that. We do have meal patterns. This is something that Christine is much better at than I am, and Lisa could probably talk to it better than I could. Unless Oh, there it goes. As you know, Hebron is a healthy food certificate district, which means that our standards are actually in excess of the USDA standards. So there are a lot of things that we have to do, especially with smart snacks, that are much greater than what the Department of Agriculture requires. Being a healthy food certified district not only means that we have higher standards, it also means that we get extra funding from the state in the excess of 10 cents per meal, which is pretty considerable. We also participate in the local Food for Schools program. We got $2,800 last year that can be used only for purchases of things in Connecticut, so Connecticut locally grown foods. The areas that they purchased last year were Belltown Cider, and I know the kids absolutely love cider. You can see the picture there. Cloverleaf Farms and H2 Hybro. I didn't say that. Anyway, and HDO for our salads and greens. I do want to let you know that every picture that you see in the slide are actually pictures from our kitchens. So that none of these are stock pictures. These are actual pictures from each one of our kitchens. We did just have our audit. I apologize, it was in 2025. It's 3 days of breakfast and lunch findings of programs. There were some minimal findings, mainly all paperwork related. There was absolutely no findings in regards to any of our nutritional standards, none of our food safety, none of the food preparation or serving practices. The administrative reviews are now every 5 years, so the next one will be in 2030 for us. The USDA right now is under a push to change some of the limits. So even though some of our limits right now are considerable, they are actually lowering a lot of the limits. They're going to be lowering the sugar limits for cereal, yogurt, and flavored milks. They reduced, right now, breakfast cereals may not have more than 6 grams of added sugar per ounce, per dry ounce. Just for comparison to groceries, I took a look. The average cereal that you buy in the grocery store has 25 to 40 grams of sugar per dry ounce. So it is considerable less than what you would see at your grocery stores. Same with yogurt. Yogurt can have no more than 12 grams of added sugars. If you take away plain yogurt, which I'm sure everybody loves, the average yogurt at the grocery store has anywhere from 25 on up as far as grams of sugar per 6 ounces. There are also strict sodium limits. So basically we add no sugar or no salt to anything, ever. So the only salt that comes in is already in the foods, either naturally or through the process. But they are very strict. So for grades K through 5, it has to be less than 1,110 milligrams. It's going down, again, that's actually getting stricter, and so in 2027, that'll go down to 935. Again, for comparison, the ADA says the average person should not have more than 2,500 milligrams of sodium during the day. So we are considerably less required than what you might need. The other thing is, I don't know how about y'all, but when you put salt in food, it tastes a little different. So that does change how things are tasting and things here, because we may not add any salt whatsoever. Other things, milk. So just to touch base on milk, for flavored milks, flavored milks can contain no more than 10 grams of added sugar per 8 ounces. For those of you who have children in the high school, this is changing to 15 grams of added sugar for 12 ounces. The requirements for the younger age is much stricter than it is for the older students. Again, I want to point out this picture is our kitchen. And that is one of our daily meals, so you can see all the lovely colors and fruits and vegetables that we serve on every meal. There we go. Just want to touch base a little bit on what we consider scratch cooking. I know a lot of people talk about scratch cooking a lot. Some of the definitions: home baked, fresh daily, cooking from raw or minimally processed ingredients, chopping, preparing, roasting, or baking on site, and using non-prepackaged or processed foods. These are a list of things that we currently do, the kitchens currently do. It's either scratch or semi-scratch menu items. So we have a long list. I'm not going to go through them all, but there is a long list of things that the cafeteria staff already do to prepare from scratch in their kitchens on a daily basis. And again, I keep pointing out the pictures, but again, as one of our pictures of the fruits and vegetables that are available, again, on a daily basis. But you can see from this list, it's not the full list, but it's a pretty good idea of what things that the staff do put together on a daily basis. In regards to trying to do more as far as cooking, as far as scratch cooking goes, one of our biggest hurdles there would be equipment. We do not currently have the space or the equipment in the kitchens on either HES or GES to do things like even make biscuits, per se. Let's say if you wanted to make a homemade biscuit and you wanted to do the mixing and that sort of thing. We don't have the floor mixers to do that. We don't have the convection ovens, the bigger enough ovens to do all that. We don't have the actual equipment. To give you an idea, being the money person, I'll let you know how expensive some of this equipment is. These are some of the things that we would need to be able to extend what we do already, is that we would need steam jacket kettles, which I don't know exactly what that is, but I'm sure Lisa can tell you. Food processors, professional grade stove tops, top burners or flat tops, floor mixers, and we would have to enhance all the hood systems within both kitchens. Just to give you an idea, the tilting skillet is $21,000. Just a Roboku, which is like a really fancy slicer and cutter, that is $1,600. A new range oven, they run around $5,000, and that doesn't even include the additional needs that we would have for staffing. These are our HES ladies. We love all, or sorry, GHS ladies, and we love all of our staff, so I made sure that we have them in there. But all of our staff, in case you didn't know, are ServSafe certified. They've all gone through 8 hours of safety training, and of course, obviously have passed. They all know how to prepare and prevent foodborne illnesses, and between the 5 staff members, there is 43 years of service in public schools. And that's just food service in public schools. That does not extend to all the services that they've done prior to coming here. If we wanted to add more scratch cooking with just having 2 staff members in each one of the kitchens, and they work on a 5 to 6 hour day, they would have to increase, we would probably have to increase and have another staff member come in. One of the things that they would have to learn is how to develop a collection of standardized recipes, because everything that we make, let's say we wanted to make those biscuits, we'd have to know exactly how much sodium goes into each one, how much was fat, how much sugar, and we'd have to be able to tell you exactly each one of those biscuits and what it is. So there's quite a science to that. They would need additional training for the new equipment that we would have to purchase. And most likely we would have to have an additional staff member, somebody to come in early enough in the day to get ready for these, to get things cooking for everybody else. This is something that we'd want to make sure that our current staff, and that's our HES staff, by the way, are included in, and that they're part of the conversation. And it could, of course, mean, union agreements and all that kind of fun stuff. So these are things that are financial and important that you understand before we can take a giant leap into adding more additional scratch cooking into our current program. Very good. So some of the questions that we got prior to the meeting that we wanted to make sure that were addressed, is tomato sauce a vegetable? Yes, it is. It is considered a tomato. But just to let you know, in addition to almost every single one of our meals, we far exceed the requirements of the USDA. So yes, we might have a spaghetti with pasta marinara sauce. That vegetable would consider it under the eyes of the USDA, the vegetable required, but we always have another vegetable available. So there is always a vegetable, there's always a fruit, there are always things available for the students in addition to the actual requirements from the USDA. So we never go below that. The USDA also requires that there's a vegetable each day, but over 5 days they have an additional requirement. We again exceed that for every single one of our students. Our protein requirements for breakfast and lunch listed by the USDA. In your packets, you have lots and lots of paperwork, lots of fun things that you can read through. They'll give you a little bit more information about meal patterns. Most of our lunches do offer 2 ounces of protein. Our breakfasts have to be grain heavy, but we do have protein options, including yogurt, string cheese, and meat like a sausage or egg and cheese sandwich. One of the things I just wanted to touch base with here is that we also have to keep in mind who our audience is. These are kids, and as much as you and I would love to have a salad with salmon on the side and all that lovely stuff, most of your kids probably won't want to eat that. So it is one thing to have to make sure that your children are not only being fed and offered this food, but they actually eat it when it's handed to them. So we don't want them to, we want them to enjoy whatever it is that's being put in front of them, and we want it to be something that's important to them. So when you do see a cereal on a menu, or yogurt on a menu, or string cheese, it's not necessarily something that I would personally eat first thing, but it is something a child would eat. And knowing that the meals have this very high nutritional background to them, unlike what we normally would see, I think it's important that you understand that we want to, quote unquote, sell it to our kids, so that we make sure that not only are they picking up the meals, but they're actually eating the meals, because that's just as important. Can we offer higher prices for, let's say, healthier items? The bottom line here is no. We have to keep everything the same for every student. Free and reduced eligibility is a very big part of this, and everybody has to have the exact same opportunity to buy the exact same meal. We also don't want to create what's considered a sense of healthier versus not healthier. All of our items are USDA standardized. So there is really nothing that you would necessarily consider a more healthy meal than the meal next to you. And again, like I said, you really want to make sure that these are items that are going to be sold and are going to be consumed by the students. I know that they've offered salad this month, and we sold one so far. So salad is not a big fan with the children. Yeah. It is on the menu every day. There's a salad on there every single day. It's not a big fan for the kids. But it is always available to them, and like I said, out of 1 month so far, we've sold one whole salad. So very proud of that parent, whoever's got their kid to eat their salads. Another bone of contention that people concerned about it is fruit, is juice, I apologize. So our juices are 100% fruit juices. There is absolutely no sugar added. They are limited to 4 ounces per student, 1 serving only. Here, the juices are only available to the students at breakfast, and it's only for, and it is only available for students who are grades K through 8. So there is not a lot of option for juices. We do serve, because of our affinities with the local food services, we do serve on occasion the cider, and the kids absolutely love cider. But again, it's 100% apples, and it's not, you're not really serving them a juice per se. Additional fruit choices are always available. There is always a fruit on every meal available to them. Some of them is fresh and fresh cut that morning. Some of it is canned, but if you do see a canned meal or a canned vegetable, a canned fruit, it's only packed in water or fruit juice. There is absolutely no syrups included in any of those meals. We also serve applesauce, but that is unsweetened applesauce. It is not a sweetened applesauce in any way. So those are what we consider processed, but again, they're 100% USDA covered and healthy alternatives. Can we do more? We always want to do more. I want to make sure that people are always available and ready to participate, or know that they can participate. Right now, food insecurities in the United States have increased incredibly since COVID. So we want to make sure that people understand that this is an option for their students. If they've had any changes in any of their requirements or anything along those lines, we want to make sure that they put in applications, that they have the ability to come and eat with us. So it's kind of maybe a little high horse for me, but I really want to see as many people eat. And most of you here are educators in your own right, so you understand the importance of making sure that students are fed when they go to the classrooms. Some of the things we'd like to do is increase a la carte items at Hebron Elementary. We started that this week, and Monday we had 8 sales, and today we had 101. So I think the a la carte items were very popular. We'd like to also work closer with co-ops to try and help increase our purchasing power. Like I said, sometimes if you have an empty truck, they won't deliver to you. So if we can work with the other towns, we did have a co-op with East Con That has changed, so we're in the process right now of trying to find new codes to join in to help us with our purchasing power. We'd like to increase our staff participation in meals. We do offer salads every day, so it would be nice if if we can't sell them to the kids, maybe we can sell them to the staff. They're very good salads, and if you forgot your lunch one day, that would be a wonderful thing. So we're going to work on trying to get our staff to increase participation. It's all very, very good food. So, and we want to increase in educational opportunities. We want the students to understand more about our farm-to-school programs, nutritional education. We have a lot of signs out in the kitchens telling people when we have local food in. I think it's really important that students understand that the food that they're eating actually came from a farm and the importance of farming overall in general. And then we would like to also increase, well, we do a lot, but increase our fun and theme day events throughout the year because, again, our audience is young and they like things that are fun and exciting. So we want to make sure that they feel like they're really participating and get to have a little fun extra meal for whatever reason that would be that day. Again, oops, see if I can get this to go. There we go. Again, in your packets, there's a whole bunch of information about meal patterns. There's a bunch of information on sodium, on salt, and on sugars and all those other lovely things. It's a lot to read, but if you have any questions, we will get these up on the website so people can take a look at them. Again, I just want to touch base to anybody who's listening. It's really important that if you've had any changes in your current situation or if you are on SNAP, which is one thing I did want to mention, SNAP participants, if you've already been direct certified, December 1st, SNAP parents, some of them might have to go to work requirements. Once you have been certified as either a free or reduced student, no matter what the situation changes over the next year, your student is already covered. So for anybody who's out there who's concerned about that, please please make sure that we understand that they are continue to be, if they're free and reduced today, they're going to be free and reduced at the end of the year, no matter what. So I think that's really important to get that out of there as well. And then, did I forget anything? You sure?
I'm going to add in a couple of things here to give a little bit of a historical perspective as well. To be very brief. Anybody who knows me knows that I am very environmentally and health conscious personally. And during the days of COVID, one of the things that was great was the free meals, and we had a lot of extra funding as a result of that, just because of the amount of utilization. And so Caitlin and I, who shared my feelings around environmental sustainability and health consciousness, really thought we're going to maximize to the greatest extent we possibly can, making some changes in our food service program. We were met with a lot of resistance from our, at the time, food service director, which was a consult with EastCon, and our manager at the time, who's not Lisa, was also resistant to a lot of feedback. And fast forward a couple of years, we moved on from those relationships and have our director and our manager are much more receptive to feedback and share our goals around where we'd like to see the food program move to. But one of the things that is a great example, because there was a lot of things that we were told were barriers, and we just said, we're just going to have to find a way. So we were doing a lot of single serve utensils, trays, those kinds of things, so a lot of waste. And one of the reasons we couldn't move to reusable was that we could not physically fit a dishwasher at HES. And that kitchen is I feel like half the size of the Gilead kitchen. It's a very, very small kitchen. And Kayla and I just wouldn't really accept that we couldn't get a dishwasher in there. And we eventually, it cost a significant amount of money, but we had a bunch of money we had to, under federal requirements, spend, and we prioritized the dishwasher so that we could get away from single serve, trays and things of that nature. So, and there's been work done around composting, and there's work being done in a lot of these different areas. I do think we're up against some barriers though at this point that feel like they would be very difficult to overcome. To do more scratch cooking, there's the cost, there's also the physical limitations of the kitchen spaces. So even if we wanted to buy some of this equipment, it can't fit. It just physically can't fit in the spaces. As it is at HES, you've got your freezer is like an addition that was basically put on the building and sticks out into the parking lot. It's amazing the things that we would like to do that we think would not be a heavy lift, but are really a big lift until we look at a bigger facilities project.
Do you guys have any questions?
Thank you. Yeah, if anyone has any questions or comments?
I just wanted to, just a point of clarification. I really appreciate what you said about the fact that regardless of what happens with SNAP benefits, kids who have qualified for free and reduced lunch will stay qualified. But I would just like, it is my understanding that if there's a change in your financial situation, you can qualify. So I just want to make sure people know that if you're full pay now, that doesn't mean that you have to stay full pay if there's some change to your financial situation.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. And we did send out reminders to parents, to anybody. So even if you were currently furloughed or, or loss of income at this time, if you currently, right now, as of today, qualify under the guidelines, then your child would be covered for the rest of the year if they actually qualify. Even if you get your job back or you start your income, there's still going to be a loss of time and some makeup for each one of the families. So we do encourage people to do applications as often as they can. The other thing is, even if you don't qualify, the application process, it's something that we take to the governor every year to say, listen, we had X number of applications, and guess what? 90% of them don't qualify because the financial guidelines are a little ridiculous. So it does help.
I just had one question about pre-K. Do they bring their own, or do they participate? Or do they participate in
They
any
can
of that?
purchase.
They're serving the classrooms.
Okay, but from us?
From us.
Oh, okay, all right. All right, perfect. Thank you.
And they have to have a different menu
Yes.
because of
They have even.
some regulations.
Right.
Yeah, their guidelines are much stricter. I mean, it gets easier as they get older, but at this stage, they have very strict guidelines. And all of our pre-K teachers actually have to be trained as well because they are technically serving food. So it's a big process.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for creating this, because I know it was very comprehensive.
I will give Christine all the credit. I just put in the pictures and made it so I could say what it was.
So please know that we appreciate that very much, and just understanding, and I'm especially looking forward to reading more about the reducing added sugars at breakfast. Where the meal pattern that you said specifies many equivalents, where is that a website that we could read more about?
So everything regarding the Connecticut State Department of Education Nutrition is on the CSDE website. So if you just went into CSDE, there is a link there that you can follow through, and actually they have an alphabetical listing, and you can just type in your question and it'll come up. There's also a lot of frequently asked questions there. The training regarding meal patterns is, how many hours? It's like a 2 or 3 hour long training. Anybody's welcome to do it if you'd like. But it's very, very extensive in the training of what they need to serve, how much they can serve, how often they have to serve it, that sort of thing. And again, like I said, that's the USDA. The state of Connecticut is even stricter in those guidelines. And being a healthy food certificate district, we really have to follow those much stricter guidelines. So.
Is this
Yeah,
the meal?
I was gonna say, it's
Some of it
also
is
right,
in there.
it is in there, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just don't know all of
It's
them.
on ct.gov.
But it's here for breakfast and lunch.
Yeah.
And it's the lunch has green and the breakfast I think is purple or blue.
This one. Okay, I'll find it.
I just saw
It is in here, and I apologize.
Is that the end?
Thank you, Christine.
It's not, it wasn't in, yep, it was in this packet. Maybe yours doesn't have it, okay.
Thank you.
We'll get it for you if you don't have it.
Okay, I got it.
And we
Very
can put it up on the website too, in case anybody else is interested, so.
Yeah, that'd be great. Is there any other questions? Or-
The pictures are beautiful.
Yes, it makes me hungry.
Lisa,
Good thing.
one of the great things about Lisa in the food manager position is Lisa is also a parent. And she knows a lot of our parents. She's very open to feedback, so people can email, reach out to Lisa. We're happy to take suggestions.
I just want to say thank you. I know it's a big undertaking to make food that kids will eat, but also that meet all of the guidelines, and especially for pennies. So thank you for all of your work to make it happen.
Thank you, and thank you for presenting. Thank you, Lisa, firstly. All right. Thank you so much. All right, next on the agenda is public comment. The Hebron Board of Education values the public comment period as it represents an opportunity for members of the public to express their views to the board on matters within the board's authority. Procedurally, public comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person, and citizens will be asked to identify themselves. All comments must be directed to the board and not to an individual board member, individual member of the administration. The board administration will not respond to questions or engage in dialogue during the public comment period. The board administration will determine when and how to address questions that arise during the public comment period. So, seeing that, is there any public comment at this time? No? All right. So we'll move on to the approval of minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of October 9th, 2025 as presented? So, Ally? Is there a second? All right, Kim seconds. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye.
I abstain.
Oh, all right, Alicia abstains.
I'm sorry, can we have the motion in a second?
Ally made it, Kim seconded, Alicia abstained. Did I say any opposed yet? No, but we're all good. All right. Discussion and possible action regarding the 2026, 2027 academic calendar. Maybe it's Ally and Dr. Baird, because I know Ally was on that committee as well.
Yep. So we talked about this a little bit at a previous meeting, that we are doing some things different with next year's calendar. It's like a 1-year thing. So we've got our big facility project at Gilead Hill next summer, both the roof and the code corrections going on. The building committee asked for an additional week of time. So we got some feedback from our union representatives and the calendar committee to make some adjustments. So one of the things that's nice, if you look at the calendar in your packet, is that even though we're starting a week later, we're not getting out terribly later, because we made an adjustment with the President's Day weekend. We just shortened that from a 4-day weekend to a 3-day weekend. And just the way the dates fell with, some of the other holidays, we just were, we're not getting out much more than, a couple of days later than we normally would. We're only doing one staff development day at the beginning of the year. I had a meeting with the teacher union representatives this afternoon, actually. And we're working out how to schedule one more PD day. We're going to do some things that will be very flexible for teachers, that allow them to come in over the summer and do some things on their own, when they decide that would be good for them. And so they'll have some control over that, to help, with getting rooms ready with only like one day and having meet and greets that afternoon when they come back. We'll move convocation off of that day so that they'll have just more time to be getting ready to greet parents in the afternoon. So we're planning on doing convocation on the 11th in the afternoon next year, on that early release day. I thought it was important to preserve the meet and greet time before the kids are coming back to be with have their first day of school on September 1st. Labor Day is later next year too, so it sort of, again, is helpful with this delayed start, because we'll still have some time in school before Hebron Harvest Fair, and we have a field trip, attached to that. So it seems like it actually has worked out pretty well. We did adjust the parent-teacher conference day in March. The feedback from staff has been that they would prefer to do parent-teacher conferences all on the same day, not have evening on one day and during the day on another day. It's difficult with we try to align with RAM and Andover and Marlboro. They have PD on that day, so for them scheduling, they have different needs than we do with having parents coming in. But what was nice about next year is Easter is early, so we were able to attach that parent-teacher conference day to the Good Friday long weekend, Easter long weekend. So it sort of worked out for the four of us to move that day off of a Friday. So that's what we're going to do for next year. And then we've got our last day of school, if we had no snow days, June 11th. We would have up to 5 days of makeup time in June. We can't really go much later than that because the school just gets so incredibly hot without air conditioning. So if we had additional snow days or other closure days, beyond those 5, we would then begin taking it from April break, which we always have on the calendar, but we just usually have 7 days or 8 days. We only have 5.
Do you know, is RAM aligning with the later start?
They are not.
So that's just a concern, because if you've got older kids who you might be relying on for childcare and now your littles are home, is there any talk of RAM, like, could we push for alignment there?
We discussed it and they opted not to. And Andover and Marlboro opted not to.
Does it affect our bus pricing?
It will. There'll be. We don't start on the same day now, so it's like I think a difference of 2 days that or 2 or 3 days that we're talking about, both at the end and the beginning of the year. So it'll be on both ends, and so we did talk about it, but it will result in additional cost for 2 to 3 days of busing.
But nothing in the middle with the changes?
Nope.
Does the April break, I'm sorry, I couldn't be part of the, it's in the middle of the day, so it's hard for me. Is the April break what the rests are doing?
Yes,
And like
so
the whole, because this is a big thing, right? Because parents that have kids in both, like RAM here, they want to go
Historically
away.
has been a big thing, but actually Hebron has been a leader in this April break conversation. So we are right on the corner of CREC, EastCon, which we're a part of, and Learn. And I won't get into it, it's a long story, but like the Learn calendar and the EastCon calendar historically were never aligned. And then one of them would be aligned to CREC, but not the other. The problem with Learn and EastCon is that NFA in Norwich has feeder districts from both rests. And so NFA has always gone with Learn. So EastCon basically has never been consistent across the region with what April break was until at our urging and sort of talking to Kate Erickson and Eric Petrulis, the directors of the rest. It's like, couldn't you just like pick the same week, please, because of NFA, but it trickles into the, all of us, really. Correct, right. So the last several years, EastCon is aligned to Learn, and it has also aligned to CREC. CREC sets their calendar very late, so I don't believe they've even put out their regional calendar yet, but this is the traditional week for CREC.
Another concern, and I know the roof is out of our control, but just thinking about if we have more than 5 snow days and need to take from April, but RAM doesn't, that means that there's a scenario where we have school and RAM doesn't, which I think would, if a family has made a decision to travel and RAM doesn't have school, I could see that having a significant increase on student attendance on those days. Again, I mean, if we have to start late, we have to start late. I also wonder, even with staff only having this one day to prep classrooms, I know obviously I'm at the building committee meeting, so I've been present for these discussions, but really just prioritizing staff being able to get in, to get their room set up, because nobody who's ever taught anything would think that you could set that up in a few hours. So
Yeah.
I think just recognizing that they'll probably need more time, so
Correct,
making
yeah.
sure that they can get in, even if there's not official staff development.
Yes, and so the last couple of weeks in August are not necessarily going to be like full building, work time. It's gonna be like, that's us getting ourselves ready. So staff will be able to come in during those couple of weeks at the end.
Yeah.
The part of the building that's gonna be impacted the most is the first grade hallway. So those teachers will be the ones that are most impacted.
Say that last part again.
The
sorry.
first grade hallway at Gilead
First.
is where that's where predominantly the work is happening.
Okay.
What is the date that the company is giving us for that?
We haven't,
Construction to end.
I don't think we've set that yet, but
I
it's
think
gonna
they've
be
said-
the RFP.
And I think what they're telling us is 10 weeks, right? 10.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
When's the
I feel-
RFP going out?
So we're hoping end of December, January.
Yeah, it has to go out soon.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does.
Sorry, that was just a comment I didn't mean
Yep.
out loud. But,
Yep.
okay.
City and I have been saying that.
Hopefully you'll have specifications to approve at the December meeting.
Yes. That would be great.
It would be great. That is the deadline that we've set.
That is what we said.
Yeah, like the RFP is.
Yes. Mhm.
Can I just ask a quick question? I'm sorry to ask this, but when you say individualized PD, like they can choose when they want to do it, and so, like, what does that look like? Who's giving that PD?
So
And is it just a one person, like one teacher's like, I want to come in on July 10th and do some PD, like what does that look like?
So we have that in the contract already. So teachers do 10 hours of self-directed PD. So that could be they're in graduate school, or they're doing teen, which is the state required induction process. So that may be
Yeah.
their hours. You may be a teacher working with one of those individuals. You may be serving on a committee. So that's a lot of what the hours would be.
So just like doing team modules?
Correct.
Okay.
What we talked about in concept, and we need to draw up an agreement, is that we would have these other 6 hours that could be for room setup / professional development. So if your room doesn't take you a long time to set up, maybe it only takes you a couple of hours based on like what is happening in your room and whether or not you moved or not, then you would have these other 4 hours that you could use for self-directed professional development. And you can do them in the summer, or you can do them over the course of the year. You can choose when you want to do it.
And that's different from last year's calendar in that,
By 1 day. Because
Okay.
we have one less day here, because we didn't want to push it out any later than it already is. So that's why we're only doing the one professional development day at the beginning of the year. Otherwise, we'd be pushing into the next week, or be talking, do we want to take a full week for April? Just didn't seem like great options. So that's why we chopped off a professional development day. But rather than schedule it the Friday before and say all staff have to be here this Friday before, we're just trying to be really flexible about it and say, if you want to take a long weekend that weekend, take a long weekend. Or if you want to come in on the 28th and that's the day you want to set up your room, then you can do that.
okay. Do our early release, I'm sorry, I'm asking a lot of questions. Do our early releases at all line up with RAM?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think RAM has more than we do, but all the ones that could be aligned are aligned. And that's been true the last couple of years.
Okay. Thank you.
Does it sound right that RAM typically starts the Thursday and Friday
Correct.
before?
Yeah.
And Hebron starts Wednesday, Thursday, Friday usually.
Correct.
Right,
So
And the-
RAM is probably starting August 27th.
August
Correct.
27th.
Yes.
With
So-
3 days of PD for us.
Right,
Beforehand?
Right.
so it'll be a
And normally
3-day
Hebron
difference.
is 2 days of PD
Yeah.
and then they start on Wednesday.
The concern that RAM voiced was that it's really about the graduation. Pushing graduation out
Yeah.
further for them was a
right.
concern. And so they didn't feel like aligning to us for 3 days was enough of a reason to justify changing their graduation timeline.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
And the cost for busing, I don't want to minimize it, but it's not a huge amount of money either. And we have had days where we've not been aligned for busing. So we always have a few days where we're paying double for that day for busing. So it's not a big reason, unless we were doing it all the time, you know, it wouldn't be a big reason to make a decision on the calendar, in my mind.
Okay. I like that we're doing this without the RFP being out there. Let me just say that again. Okay.
Well, if something happens in the
Because you're
project
going
that
to get
impacted,
folks, companies are gonna already be potentially doing other,
yep,
so we really have to get that out there.
I agree.
Sorry, that's just, all right, any other questions?
How's staff morale around the flexibility, summer flexibility to get set up, and then also just the shifting of time?
Well, we just talked about it today, but I think it's a good option for people. You know, we're saying you can do it when you want versus, I mean, the alternative is we schedule a day and everybody has to come on that day. So I think that this is good for staff morale and sort of the best thing we can do to mitigate the fact that you only have basically a half a day to be ready for parents walking in. I think it's important to do convocation, but I think it's the smart move to not do it that morning because people are going to be, their minds will be elsewhere.
When are we doing it?
We'll do it on the 11th.
Convocation?
Yep, we'll do it on the 11th in the afternoon.
All right, sorry, I just want to.
Yep.
Okay, in the afternoon?
Yep. Because it's an early release day, so we'll do it when the early release day starts. So 1:30, I think, is when that starts.
Okay.
So we did have teacher representation on the calendar committee, and they've been the same teachers the last several years, Sarah Costa and Sabrina Harris. And overall, they felt like if we have to start a week later, it's kind of amazing that it doesn't feel like we're getting out a lot later was sort of the feeling. And sort of an understanding of like, yeah, it makes sense if it's such an extensive project. Like, the project will not be done. That's the other thing we're going to try to help parents understand when we send this calendar out. The project will not be done when we start school. It will be still happening after hours for several weeks is our best guess. And so we want to also help people understand that this is going to help it get along further and faster and being done faster by making this shift. And we'd rather do it now than be in the middle of the summer saying, oh gosh, we really need an extra week.
Right.
It only buys a day, but was there talk about having school on Veterans Day, to have another buffer day in June?
We did not talk about that because it's a day in our contracts. And for some staff, they just got that benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Good. Okay, can I have a motion to approve the 2026-2027 academic calendar as presented?
So moved.
Ellie moves.
Second.
Kim seconds. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Okay, so next is, thank you, Tom, for giving us a couple options here. So I know we have talked for a couple meetings now, briefly, about moving our meetings. Basically, it was because everything in this town happens to fall on Thursdays. Other board meetings, like every single board meeting, for like Board of Finance, sometimes Board of Finances are on Thursdays, during budget season, Board of Selectmen, Rams events are historically on Thursdays. So it's just something I brought up, and then Tom did a calendar. I don't know if any of you had the time to look at it. Obviously, the first page is kind of what we have right now, which is the second Thursday of every month. Unless, obviously, it's our board retreat or during the fair time, we always move it, just because of the fair. And then on the other side would be potentially Mondays. I know we talked about like maybe doing the third Monday if we were doing a Monday, given other like meetings in town that might conflict. So I just open up for discussion. It's just a thought to shift only because everything is on Thursdays. I know Rams is on Mondays, so I was, initially thinking aligning with the Ram, would kind of open up the events. Most of the board has children in the schools or at Ram or on their way there, so.
So Ram is Mondays, but not the third Monday. That's what you're saying, Ram's Board of Ed meets on Monday, but not the third Monday?
They meet on the fourth Monday, I believe.
I don't know.
I think they're on the fourth Monday.
I would just not want it to be the same in case we
Mhm.
wanted to.
I'm
move it
pretty
up.
sure it's the fourth because it's the same night as our other meeting.
That sounds right. It
Right.
looks like Sarah's checking her.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the fourth because of that.
Yep.
Sarah will tell us.
Well, no, Sarah's not, okay, hang on.
All right.
Maybe I'll tell you. It might
And
be-
they may meet more frequently during budget season.
Yeah.
But
Oh my gosh.
I mean, like we do.
Right.
This is gonna, don't wait for me.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, but it sounds like the decision is really around the Monday versus Thursday?
Yeah, I think so because I know when initially the Wednesdays weren't good. I mean,
Good point.
looks like they meet the first, it's a mixture.
Yeah.
they have a mixture of Mondays.
Yeah.
They just choose a Monday.
Yeah, the most recent one was the 20th, October 20th.
What's the next one?
I think similar to like what we
9:15.
did.
I was gonna say, I thought it was the second. Well, no, this looks like it's the third. This looks,
I think some of it depends on if it is a vacation week or a Monday holiday or.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's just a matter, we'd have to decide no later than next month because I have to certify it by statute to the town clerk, or we do, not I. But we have to certify it to the town clerk, by January 15th, then we have to vote on it beforehand. And the longer we wait, then the first meeting has to be a special meeting, because you have to certify it, and then they have to have it for 30 days in order for the first meeting to be a regular meeting rather than a special meeting.
Here's their, I mean, it looks
Oh.
like they probably plan around things too, including long weekends and town
Alright.
events. So it's not super consistent whether it's, which one it is where.
Yeah, so it does look like most of them are the third.
Yeah, there's a lot
Oh,
of
no,
thirds on.
January's the fourth.
I guess, I mean,
I don't know that we could plan
well,
technically.
I
right?
mean, I guess I just, if they're typically the third, I don't know that we should plan for it to be the same. I mean, how often will any of us feel compelled or need to go to the RAM Board of Ed? But we do have two people on the board who work at RAM, and many of us with kids at RAM, so I guess the possibility exists that we might want to be able to go.
Yeah,
But, I mean,
I guess it's, yes, it's just a thought. Well, we also want to go to the events.
Right.
Of course.
Which are on
Right, we're
Thursdays.
not
Of
gonna be
course.
able to, we're not gonna be able to plan around everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's true, so.
And unanticipated things.
I mean, like,
happen, so-
I'm just throwing it out
Not to
there
say we
because
shouldn't put
our
thought into
town meetings, if anyone wants to, or if they wanna come here, they can't as well. Most of them are on Thursdays. I don't know what it is about Thursday in Hebron. I know RAM events are, and this board is full of kiddos at RAM. So I don't know if we wanna go around and just say, I'm
Okay, and
not
not
wedded
to-
to any, I'm just wanted to
Did
bring
we
it up.
float Wednesdays, or did we, like, were Wednesdays and Tuesdays, and not that I wanna open it up again, cause I really don't, but I'm just saying, like, did we think about those or no? We just picked these two to compare.
Tom can't do Tuesdays.
Okay,
We could discuss Wednesdays at some point otherwise, but that's on my next piece of,
Oh.
during the chair report.
Oh.
Ally couldn't do them. I don't know.
Okay.
Like going forward, that could be a possibility, Wednesdays. to
I just couldn't
talk
remember
to.
why we picked.
Some
Sunday.
maybe Joe couldn't do Wednesday. They-
Oh,
we-
maybe Joe
We
could
did
do
talk about it
Wednesdays.
before and
Okay.
and decided,
Okay.
let's mock up Monday and Thursday.
I thought we had talked through it all, but I just couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think Joe might not be able to do Wednesdays either.
okay.
And I don't think anyone wants to do Fridays, so.
Have we
I know,
thought
I
about
really don't.
Saturdays?
So, we don't do the weekend, just kidding.
I would just say, I feel like every possible foreseeable option was looked at, and, I am fine with switching to Mondays. I know I'm just speaking for myself as far as like rearranging schedules, and it looks like we're trying to be cognizant of other meetings that would happen on Mondays as best as we can to not conflict with those. So if it makes sense to be able to attend RAM events and other board meetings that are happening on Thursdays, I'm fine with switching to Mondays.
Okay.
I feel like it's been discussed at length. I feel like a lot of the options have been reviewed. You've put a lot of time into it, and I think that if it opens up space for people to attend things on Thursdays, then Mondays seems like the logical option. That's just my opinion.
Mondays are hard for me, so I'm in favor of Thursdays, but that's, that's specific to me, so we can also just see
Well,
how
yeah.
it goes.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so my preference is for Thursdays, is to keep Thursdays.
Okay. Vicky?
Mondays are a little easier, just because the work week isn't built up yet at that point, but if it's cognizant of 3-day weekends, which I'm sure you've already worked in all those certain
Yeah.
holidays,
Oh, right.
and spending every Monday at some meeting somewhere. But I personally, I don't have a major preference between one or the other. Alicia?
I mean, Thursdays are easier for my family right now, but that subject is, changes every few months. So I'm open to Mondays.
I feel like there's never games on Mondays either for any sports.
True.
There's not games, is that what you said?
Yeah, I think
Oh, sports games?
most games tend to be later in the practices and stuff.
Can it's not an absolute no for me, so.
I don't want any board member not to be able to come to the meeting, so I
Right.
guess that's my biggest thing. I mean, that's the most important thing. Like, I don't wanna pick a day that's difficult for our board, just like knowing if we keep it as is, which we certainly can, like, there's going to be those times where either if Ram's having an event and every single child of everyone on the board is there,
I think,
we'll have to move our
if
meetings.
I'm the
That's all.
hang up, I feel like for me, I worry about it during like budget season when it's like potentially, 7 Mondays.
I think
It
gonna
would be
interfere
hard
with
for
a
me to
lot.
do 7 Mondays between
Yeah.
January and the second week of March.
Yeah, and there's no way it's not
You
gonna
know,
overlap with other meetings.
it would be easier for me to do Thursdays during that time.
But I think.
One Monday a month,
Mhm.
I can probably plan around that.
And agreed, Thursdays are easier for my family. Can I make it work one Monday a month? Yes. With that said, during budget season, if we need to meet more regularly, by the time we're choosing those dates, we've got Ram's calendar, we've got everything. So we could choose, well, theoretically, we could choose dates that don't, like, we could choose Thursdays, right, for the budget meetings. They wouldn't have to be Mondays.
The last 2 years, you've only needed one extra meeting, with the way that we sort of realign the budget calendar. So we start in January, we continue in February, vote on a preliminary budget in February, we do the line by line at the March meeting, and then we have this special meeting where we sort of talk about any other last minute changes, any other lines people want to talk about, and we've adopted it at that meeting. So, you've got 2 meetings right now for March in either version of the calendar. But if you're at the meeting on March 23rd and you feel like you need to schedule another meeting, you can schedule another special meeting and pick whatever day works best for the most people. And you don't have to necessarily stick on a Monday. The other thing you could do is in March, you could do Monday the 16th as your regular meeting, but then do a Thursday, March 19th was like the other date you were looking at for like the special budget meeting, you could do a Monday and a Thursday in March.
That's getting complicated. All right, is it better to just leave it on Thursdays? But knowing that there are gonna be times, so Ram has a concert, elementary school all the way up, they just did this, right? They had elementary school kids, our elementary school kids join them, middle school, high school, so you're talking 6, potentially 7 of us that can't go. We're just gonna have to know, like, if we leave on Thursdays, there might be that time where, like, I'm sure all of our families come, no offense, but, like, we wanna see our kiddos, right? Like, so there might be a time we're gonna have to move a meeting. And if we move it, it'll have to be a special meeting, that's all. I mean, if the board is okay with that, meaning, the special meeting, we just can't add or move anything around on the agenda. Not that we can't still have a regular meeting, but we just can't add anything. Does that make more sense to leave it on Thursday? I know Joe would say Thursdays, I already know. Cause he's like,
What would just?
Joe
I
wants
think he would,
Thursdays.
well, he said that last
Yeah.
meeting, so I'm
I thought so,
assuming,
too.
I think, let's, maybe we just leave it on Thursday.
It's your
I
meeting.
know you don't mind.
I just come to it.
Yeah. So Saturdays you'd come to?
No.
Okay. Does that make more sense? I know it's easier for Sarah. Joe expressed Thursdays, you expressed Thursdays, Mondays. I don't know.
If you do Thursdays, you do have a couple of days you need to talk about. Because you have a conflict in April, and you also have, I believe you're gonna have a conflict in September.
So March 19th, you have, that's our special meeting budget, but we have evening parent conferences, like, isn't that gonna be?
It's not been an issue before, like, that was true last year as well.
But then no parents can come to our budget meeting, right?
Well, they would just schedule their conference around it, but
Yeah.
it hasn't been an
Okay.
issue in the past.
Okay,
You traditionally have not had public comment at that meeting, because it's a
so
special meeting.
Thursday, April 9th, is that the one you're talking about?
Yep. That is the night of the Ram Music Art Coffee House.
So Wednesday's an option for that one. is
Okay,
what
yes.
it looks like, okay.
Okay,
And if we set it, then it's a regular meeting, just on.
so
Wednesday,
Ram Music
so it
Art
doesn't
Coffee
follow.
House, that's chorus, choir,
It's middle school
middle, school.
though, so.
It's middle school, eh? Oh, no, high school has
High
their
school
own.
just
Evening
Evening
of
of
the
the
Arts. Yeah, it's middle school. Right, so, 1, 2,
Would
3.
Loretta do that?
Yes.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3. Coffee house? All right, are you guys good at, is everyone all right if we move that to Wednesday, April 8th?
Yes.
All right, so we'll move that one to Wednesday, April 8th. That's right before spring break.
Yeah, that's the
Okay.
week we usually do it though. It's less close to spring break on a Wednesday than a Thursday.
Yeah.
I have a conflict for work on the 8th.
Wait,
No, you're looking at
Wednesday-
the wrong that's,
oh,
that's, you
no,
that's
you're
the
right,
wrong
I am.
calendar.
When is Wednesday,
This is-
April 8th?
It is right before April break though, this is this year's.
Thank you. Can you put closer? I'm just kidding. All right, is everyone okay with Wednesday, April 8th?
I am not. I can't do that day.
You can't?
Sorry.
Or you're not gonna be able to do the Thursday either?
Huh?
You won't be able to do the Thursday either, I don't think.
No, I could do Thursday because Maisie's not in middle school anymore, but
Oh, right.
Sarah can.
No, you can't.
I'm okay skipping the coffee house. My last
No, I don't think. All right, we will
My
leave
bad,
it as
Sarah.
is.
So we're
And
leaving
then-
it on the 9th?
Yeah,
Okay.
and we'll get Sarah out here as soon as possible. It will be a quick meeting.
Okay.
Listen, if I
Um,
get Thursdays, then I'll be here. How about that?
But is that then?
Yeah.
then parents, not that we get a lot of public
Yeah.
attendance, but if they wanted to, then we're introducing our conflict to them.
But usually
But it's
Coffee
only for the-
House starts at 7.
Yeah,
This is at 6, public
Yeah.
comments at the beginning.
Yeah.
and it would have to be parents who have kids in both
Right.
schools,
No, I know.
so, you know.
All right, September.
So the Thursday retreat in July, I know it's early because this always comes up, and then like as we get closer, folks have vacation. But for now, is everyone okay? And we can talk about it as we get a little closer. July 30th at 4:30 for our Board of Ed retreat.
And we scheduled that as a special meeting so that we can
Yes.
change the date if we need to.
Yeah,
I think we did this past summer, we moved it to August.
we had to move it a little bit because
That would be my preference.
it's early.
To move it
for-
to August.
I think we had both. We had a meeting last July and August.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Are we okay leaving it for now? We might have to move that one. I mean, it's a special meeting anyway. We just have to
Right.
move it. We have 48 hours to move that. So we can move it as we get closer.
Okay.
Because I don't know Jonah's vacation schedule offhand. August 20th, I don't know that we need to move that.
I like the August 20th date, is that,
We can, I mean, it's closer to school,
Right, that's why we do it then.
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
that's why I would prefer it.
the beginning of school. Okay,
Mhm.
all right.
But September,
September one we've always historically shifted,
Mhm.
so if everyone's still okay with that because of the harvest fair, we don't have it that week.
problem is going to be open house for RAM.
Oh, no.
The 17th is?
Well, they don't have anything on the calendar, but this was the week that they did it last year. This year we're in right now. This is when they did it.
Right.
So moving it to the 24th might solve that.
It may.
It may.
Or,
So 24th and 8th, Super Bowls.
or, I mean, we have the shared calendar and we are proposing this date. So there would already be something on the calendar which would make it theoretically not available for their open house, right? Like, that's how the shared calendar should work?
I don't think it worked that way.
So that's the purpose of it. I don't know
Yeah.
that worked out so well this year.
Can it be made a special meeting so we have the flexibility to move it if we need to?
I mean, actually, it doesn't have to be a special meeting to move it. But we have to vote on it if it's a regular meeting to move it, usually.
Yeah, so the difference between
Wait
a
a minute.
special meeting and a regular meeting is like how much notice you have to post your agenda, which is, that part's not really a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a special meeting, you can't add anything to the agenda.
Right.
So if there are last minute things, you just can't do it.
Okay.
Do you have it? When is Rams normally,
So,
when's their normal open house?
usually, so in the past, the high school open house has been the Thursday before the half day in September. So, but the middle school,
That would be
and
the
I think
fair.
the middle school has historically been on that's the part I'm not sure of what is historically when the middle schools is. I think historically the middle schools was Wednesday, the high school was Thursday, and then we came back to the Friday half day
Of the same week.
of that same week. Does that sound right?
Alicia,
And I
does that sound right?
think-
With
well, she
middle
wouldn't
school?
know because would you?
Well-
I mean, you've only been through it once. 'Cause then,
Twice,
or no, you went
but-
through it twice, but we don't remember.
No chance I remember what day
Got
it
it.
was on though.
Next year, though, the early release day is the week of the fair. So I don't think your open houses.
So we're probably not doing
Right.
it that week.
That's why I'm thinking your open houses are gonna be the week of the 14th.
Would it be crazy to do September 3rd?
I think we definitely wouldn't have like financial reports for you.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, that wouldn't be.
So I was suggesting to move to the 24th, to do a later meeting in September if you want. do have a later August meeting, so.
And then but then we have an early October meeting. Do we care? Or is that fine?
Can we also adjust it as we enter 2026 and have the other calendars if needed?
Yes, we can
You
adjust
can
it.
reschedule it, yeah.
Yep.
So you could leave it on the 17th now and just sort of claim the day.
I would leave it because since they don't have theirs yet.
And maybe put it on there and maybe they'll
Yes.
notice that the date's already filled and then not put something else
Yes.
on it.
And maybe our RAM teachers can help alert principals.
But if it ends up being that night, we will move it. We'll just move our meeting.
Happy to do whatever
Are
you would
we
like.
happy to do that on the Harvest Fair night?
What's that?
Like the board?
You could do it on the,
I mean, let's just do it at Hebron instead, so we're not trying to get up here, but,
yeah.
but otherwise,
Is the
I mean,
first, is that
to do the
Hebron
meeting
night?
on
like-
the 10th?
Is,
because
I
that's,
do
Thursday
not.
night's always-
oh
I
no,
do
because
not
the
wanna do
17th,
it.
never mind,
No,
never mind.
No, we're
Oh,
not doing it
okay.
on Hebron Fair night. I don't wanna do it on Hebron Fair night.
is it Hebron Fair night, the 17th?
No, it's
No,
the
the
10th.
10th.
Oh,
The 10th.
no, oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
I was
throwing it out there. I was just
proposing
throwing it
to
out
leave
there.
it on the 17th
Right,
and then see what happens.
okay.
Great. Leave it on the 17th. See what happens.
Yes.
I was just
Okay.
saying, if we knew the 10th wasn't gonna be open house.
Oh, but we don't.
The 10th won't be open house. There's no way the 10th will be open house.
No, I
That's
know.
Hebron night. Yeah.
Alicia
Oh, oh,
I
oh.
know, so I was
And-
saying,
Got
do
it,
the
got it,
people
got
in
it.
this room,
Roller
like, how
coaster.
committed are we to going on Thursday night? Or doing a board meeting?
All right, let's
I just
leave
really
it for
wanna-
now. Let's leave it for now.
Leave
If
the
we have to
calendar.
move
Got
it
it.
because folks have other obligations,
Okay.
mostly our whole board, then we will. In one
So
way or
it looks like
another.
you're going with the Thursday version as presented.
Yes.
Mm.
With the caveat, obviously, we can move any meeting at any time. If it's a regular meeting, I just send a revised calendar to the town clerk. And then it's approved, and we can do that too. All right, so motion to adopt the 2026 board meeting calendar with regular meetings on Thursday evenings as discussed.
So moved.
All right, Kim. Is there a second?
Second.
All right,
So who seconded?
Ally seconded.
Ally seconded.
all right, any other further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, okay. Motion passes, thank you. All right, Thursday, show will be. Alicia will be. Chair report, so just a reminder that our December meeting's on the 11th. But prior to our meeting is, we have a 5 o'clock, our board attorney is coming to kind of do a training, refresher on just, like our responsibilities, roles, FOI, things like that. So that will be here at Gilead Hill School. I don't have anything else for the chair report, but I do, just because technically it's Ally's last meeting, and although we have asked her to come back to a meeting following so we can recognize her and her service, but I just wanted to thank you for being on the board and for all of your hard work and volunteer hours, and it's really been wonderful having you on the board and all the committees that you're responsible for, and we appreciate you, and we hope you come back and
I'll be around.
you will come back
I'll be around.
so we can recognize you formally, and I know, and when Joe's here as well. So we'll work that out with you, maybe December, or if you can't do December, we can do March, Board Appreciation Month, which is a good month, so. But thank you. And that's all I have.
So I'll start by just saying a big thanks to all the staff and PTA and students at Hebron for putting on a really nice Veterans Day program. It's always a really great event. And the assembly was very nicely done, student-led, always a joy. District Advancement Plan updates. The Fly 5 SEL pilot is underway in grades 5 and 6. So far, initial feedback has been pretty positive, so we are going to be looking at budgeting for those materials for next year. Lego robotics STEM units have begun in grade 6. And the Regional Instructional Collaborative met on October 21st. That's work we do with RAM, Andover, and Marlborough on teaching and learning. And we identified math and social studies as focus areas for this school year. So more to come on that. Technology and facilities, the building work continues. The electrical work here remains in progress. It is not over the finish line quite yet. We did repair the drain that was broken in the GHS kitchen. That was done on Columbus Day. We repaired the bottle filling stations. You may remember we installed the bottle fillers summer of 2020 so that we could use those as we reopened our schools. We were finding that there was signs of dripping and further investigation. It looked like that there was just condensation that was building up over the summers inside of the units. So they were retrofitted and that has been completed. We have been working for about a month to replace a valve that's broken in the boiler room here on the backup furnace. In addressing the failed valve, we are also going to have it set up so it can automatically kick on. The backup burner right now, how it had been set up previously, you needed to manually turn it on as the backup. So with, while we're fixing this, we're also improving that so that it'll just kick on automatically. This has been a very long project for a valve replacement. It's just been like, part takes forever to come in, not correct part, not working correctly, not working with the old boiler. It's been a real adventure for Dave and the team. And it's 2 different companies you have to bring in together to do the work.
Oh,
And so you can
at the
imagine,
same time?
yes, so you can imagine the coordination involved in that. So maybe tomorrow, Dave, is that, or maybe Friday?
We're looking at Friday.
Friday.
Right now.
But that'll be a relief when the backup will just kick on its own, and for the backup to be working. The annual state required tools for school, you may remember this is an annual requirement for these facility checklists to be completed, are attached for your perusal. The only thing really of note is that it's identified that like pest management is something that we need to be focusing on. And that's why David sort of already identified as an area that we need to be looking at. But otherwise, sort of status quo. Moving on to other items, the annual sort of batch of policy updates came from Shipman finally. So we always have updates to the non-discrimination suite, which is like 8 policies. Every year there seems to be an update to those. So I've done that under your bylaw 909008 that allows me to do that. We do have some other policy work to do that came in with that. So we scheduled a policy meeting for Monday. Just was the date that worked out the best for us. So policy committee meeting will be on Monday, and then that will hopefully mean you'll have first reads for a number of policies for next month. The other report that's attached here in November, we're required to have the yearly report for the projected classroom utilization. It's required under your class size policy. So we have as an attachment, the projections for the number of sections over the next 3 years. Next year, we're projected to be sort of at our highest number of sections that we've had. We're supposed to be expecting 6 sections for kindergarten. We'll see. We're currently at 5 across all grade levels right now. So we're projecting right now to maintain 5 across the other grade levels and have 6 in kindergarten. So we'll budget for 6, and then we'll see. We can watch enrollment and potentially reduce to 5 or increase to 7, you never know. In March, when you're finalizing the budget, you're usually able to have a pretty good idea of where we'll land by then. The other years following that do show us reducing the number of sections as the numbers work as they go up to the higher grades. You can have a higher number of students per class, and still with very comfortable class sizes with those. So we would be looking to reduce sections over the next 2 years after that. So next year is looking like a high for us. You have the full NESDAQ projection report with that, so you can peruse that, and we can get into more conversation when we have, the budget deliberations. Happy to take any questions.
Any questions?
All right, Cindy, the business manager's report.
Hello again. So you have all the attachments. Transportation, we've had very few, and I knock on wood every time I say this, interruptions or breakdowns with the busing, which has been nice. We are currently working with RAM right now on a special education bid. They're actually taking the lead on the busing for that, and then we are just tagging on so that we would be cooperating with RAM on the special education transportation. Student activities has been fairly mild as far as work goes. They've had some revenue from the Servo Nation and a lost library fee at GHS. HES has spent some money on music sheets. They've collected some, excuse me, $370 was collected for a field trip to the Coast Guard Academy, which ended up being canceled due to the shutdown. But we are hopeful that will get rescheduled, so we're holding on to those funds. If for some reason that doesn't happen, we will refund them back to the parents. I'm only gonna cough when I talk, I guess. Food services, just, I think I spoke a lot about food services already. We're doing quite well on that. We are about the same as far as trending numbers goes. State reimbursements were delayed, but we did actually get those today, so so happy to hear about that. Preschool, the financial report is attached. There's nothing, any majors updates. Tuition payments have been, for the most part, on time with very few exceptions. Our grants right now, the seed funding is the first distribution of $10,950 was sent directly to the town. That is still kind of up in the air as far as how that is going to be distributed between Hebron and RAM. So I'm not quite sure what the final decision on the town side, that is actually the town's responsibility to distribute those funds. I believe that they're gonna, I don't know how they're actually gonna go, so we'll see how that turns out. The IDA actually was just recently reduced, so we found out on November 5th that they have reduced the IDA funds, and that is due to the fact that the state actually had a reduction from the government, federal government overall, so they had to reduce everybody's funding. We were impacted by $4,322 for our ID 611 and $511 for our ID 619, which doesn't sound like a whole lot of money, but it actually is a percentage, a significant percentage for our district, so that was unfortunate. So we made adjustments to that. Right now, the new non-lapsing fund, I did open up the bank account with the Key Bank, and it is an interest-bearing account. And we have not spent any additional funds out of there. So as of the report time, our funds available were $205,371.95. But in 3 days, we get $17.99 worth of interest. So you can add that onto there. So we're pretty, I was pretty impressed that we got that much interest in 3 days, to be honest with you. Right now, the audit, the 24 audit, there's no updates. I've actually not heard from the auditors at all. The town is just continuing to wait to see how that is going to end on the 24. They should be on schedule to start with me on just the Board of Education side for the 25 audit, because that is required by January 31st. So I'm hoping to hear from them shortly and get that up and going. I have no transfers requests at this time. I had so many last time that I thought it would take a break. No, we had a lot of changes in the staffing last month, so we are just kind of sitting back and reevaluating, mostly for facilities and to see where we're at along those lines. Right now, our current uncommitted balance is $384,127, which is, again, most of that is outstanding to tech hardware that we will be spending, but has not been encumbered at this point. And then the biggest thing that I'm working on, and all the admins are working on at this point, is the 26-27 budget. All the schools and special education and departments have put in their initial budgets, and we're going to sit down together and walk through those. So that's where we stand on that. You guys have any questions?
I think we have the draft CIP plan. in
Oh,
there.
yeah, oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't on there. Yes, so in your packet also is a draft CIP plan every year. This time of the year, the town requests that we put in our 5-year CIP plan. It is included in your packet. What I did was I pretty much moved everything that was on the CIP plan for 26, 27. Last year, we moved to 27, 28. The biggest thing that we added to 2026, 27 request is Hebron Elementary School needs a new fire panel. And we're looking at about $150,000. We've had 2 quotes so far. We have one around 118 and the high one at 150. We're getting a 3rd quote right now. But it does work, just in case anybody's listening. We do have a fire panel that does work. It's just not in, it definitely needs to be replaced. It does not have parts that are replaceable. So we just want to make sure that everything is up to date. It's obviously a safety and security issue, so it's our #1 priority for next year. So everything else kind of got moved over. The only other thing that changed from previous years is the Hebron Elementary Playground was originally in the 26, 27 year. That got pushed 2 years. Again, it's more based on where the town and the board is looking for facilities in the future. So that's where we're at. But the main thing that we are gonna have to do one way or the other is get that fire panel done.
We really just wanted to put in for this next year, like, the fire panels, like, yeah, you have to. So like, let's just focus on that, do nothing else. Really push to get the study funded by the town that looks at renovating as new, the 2 schools, build a new school, continue capital approach, because that will really inform the capital work moving forward. And the playground, we just felt like with the repairs that the town funded, that can get us through a couple of years, and we can push that off until we have that study, we can make some smart long-term decisions about our facilities.
What exactly is a fire panel?
So fire date, do you want to answer that question? Because we've been spending a lot of time on the fire panel.
At the microphone.
So the fire panel for Hebron is just considerably older than the one at Gilead Hill. The one at Gilead Hill's been replaced. I don't actually know the date, but it's modern by comparison. This one now, again, like stress, it works. It calls the fire department, you know, when we're an alarm. But they don't make parts for it anymore. So if it were to break, we'd be right where we are right now, replacing the fire panel, instead of if we had a more modern one where simply parts could be swapped in and out. And then the other part for it, one like pain point for us has been newer fire panels will detect and alert you when sensors are getting dirty. We have hundreds of smoke sensors in the buildings. You can look in this room, there's 6 to 9 of them in this room right here, not including the mechanical rooms on either side. So they add up quick, but this one will not give us any heads up, any info on when one's about to go trigger, just because it's dusty or dirty or a spider made a house in it, you know. Whereas the Gilead one actually will. It's got some of that info. So that would be a really nice thing for us and for the fire department, you know, to get ahead of that kind of work.
The fire department is definitely supportive of our advocating for this to be a, right now, have-to project. We've had, this year alone, I think 2 times it's gone off, and it's November. And luckily it's been, I think, okay weather it's gone off.
All right, yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks.
I just had one other mini question for Cindy. You said you sold several more a la carte items at HES. What was sold, and was that profitable to help with?
It is, so to be honest with you, I don't know exactly what it was. I know they were starting with chips, and yes, it will definitely be an assistance to us in our bottom line. So everything was $1. We're requiring cash only at this point, and the reason why is we don't want people to get into debt over an a la carte item. So if your child goes and buys $5 worth of snacks and you're not aware of it, we don't want that to So we are, and we do have the ability with the Connecticut State Department of Education to allow just cash on it, so. But it started Monday, and like I said, Monday, we only had 8 sales, and then people realized it was happening, and today we had 101. So it will be definitely something that will assist us at the end. But I'll have a better idea. The novelty may wear off. I don't know. But yeah, it is profitable. Yes.
So you might remember too, we budgeted around 80,000 for the cafeteria offset for this current year. And so I was talking to Cindy earlier this morning about getting her, and it's looking in a crystal ball, but we kind of need her to do that for us, to be thinking about, where do we think we might end this year, and how does that inform what we would budget for the cafeteria offset for next year? So Cindy was thinking next month she may be able to begin to giving us that projection.
Yeah, I was waiting for the state to start actually paying us for our reimbursable meals.
Yeah.
So that was always a little nerve-wracking because I didn't know whether there was some reason why we hadn't gotten our finances. But it came today, so that's, I think they're just delayed for everything else. I'm hoping by the end of December I'll have a general idea of where our meals are. Breakfasts are lower, and I think a lot of people miss having free breakfast. But anything we can do to increase breakfast would be nice. And that's one of our lowest cost. It's probably our highest profit is breakfast because it has the lowest cost for us. So we are going to actually evaluate looking at changing the way breakfast is served. Maybe in January or whatever, just do more options, kind of give them a choice of 3 things, or put 3 things out every single day and say you have to pick 3 things for your meal, you have to pick a fruit, the other 2 things are optional. Fruit is required, so anything that we can do to try and increase our breakfast participation would be great. But our lunches have actually been a little bit higher than they were trending last year, so hopefully that'll stay on top.
Thank you.
Thank you. Committee updates, as Dr. Bear mentioned earlier, the policy committee meeting is Monday the 17th. It's going to be at 4:30 p.m. Resource Management Committee, we met tonight, just a preliminary, why can't I say that for tonight? To go over, talk about the budget. I mean, not that there is one complete yet, but just kind of how it's going. And the capital improvement plan, which you saw in the packet tonight. Student growth and district advancement, hasn't met recently. Communications hasn't met, but we probably will when budget season gets going.
I would suggest scheduling a communications meeting on the February board meeting night if we could. It's like 5 o'clock on February 12th. I can look at the budget flyer and does that work?
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
I'll send out invite.
Okay. Negotiations committee, we haven't met yet, but we have teacher negotiations coming soon. Building committee,
We have met twice since our last Board of Ed meeting.
wow,
We-
exciting.
Yes. The October meeting either was longer or I took better notes. Both of those are possible. There was a lot of discussion about the roofing projects at HES in October. The roofing project was mostly done. There was some frustration around some slow turnaround with paperwork. There was one leak near the music room. Seems to have been an isolated event with no evidence of damage to the roof, and it seems to be unrelated to the roof replacement. As we discussed, the roofing project for GHS, planning to go out to bid January or February. They're looking at trying to package all of the projects together with one general contractor and 3 subcontractors. So we're looking at roofing, ceiling tile abatement, the lighting, I wrote one other. It's funny that I would have written that and not known what the one other was.
Fireproofing.
What, fireproofing,
Yeah.
perfect. Goal is to have this ready to start as soon as school is out. There was a lot of discussion at that meeting about what should happen with the lighting grid and whether or not they should remove it or keep it, wipe it down. But they, at the most recent meeting this past week, we decided to update to LED, update the grid to LED.
And replace the fixtures, because they're gonna have, it may cost basically the same, because we're doing the abatement, to be preserving them, wiping them, you know, it just.
Sounds
may
like there's a
cost the
lot of
same to
special
just-
handling
right.
that would have to happen. So it's a pretty significant expense to just then put dated fixtures up into a brand new ceiling that would look like an eyesore.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The only other thing I'll mention is that there's some masonry work at the HES project that has just been not done very well, so it's being redone. And the town is requiring that to be supervised work because of the concern over the slow pace of repairing it. So that sort of remains in progress.
So is the leak,
That was from early October and, or the note was from October. I think
Yeah.
it was probably even from September, but
The feeling was that, and we've had this in different parts of both buildings at different times with different storms, is that that storm was particularly windy. And the feeling was that it was getting in, not through the roof, through some other way.
yeah, it sounded like the rain was coming in at an atypical angle, and then that coupled with the wind led to the rain coming in through a vent that typically that it wouldn't have occurred. And it hasn't, at least in October, it hadn't occurred since.
Yeah. We haven't had any issues since then. We certainly have had some heavy rain since then.
okay. I just wanna make sure if it is a thing, that they go out and check it, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yes.
Just thinking of like rain in the fields, PTA liaison.
So briefly, I think everyone remembers that the Apex Fun Run resulted in some significant revenue that came in. And so the PTA is in the process of implementing the grant, or mini grants or grant allocation process where people can, or staff can submit applications, for ideas to utilize those funds. And so that process is underway and those will be reviewed and then announced.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. Local Governance Partnership Liaison.
They did meet, the group did meet. They have another new name. It's called the Early Roots Collaborative.
What is it called?
Early Roots Collaborative. And they
Okay.
met for the first time on October 20th. We all met downtown at AHM. Tressa hosted everyone. It was the first meeting of its kind. It functions very differently than the School Readiness Council had previously. So EastCon has an appointed liaison to help facilitate this meeting, and it brought together 3 communities. So it's us and over in Lebanon. And it's not just the schools, it's also a variety of community partners, private programs, and the like. So the first meeting was really a get to know you, a who's who, and there will be 5 more meetings coming up this year, and the next one has not yet been scheduled, so stay tuned.
All right, interesting. I like the new name, shorter and more
What's that?
succinct. I like the new name.
Yeah, so it's Early Roots Collaborative of Andover, Hebron, Lebanon. The Early Roots Collaborative serves as the LGP. That's the full name. So take your pick.
So I retract my earlier statement. I'm gonna stick with the
Mouthful.
first
Yep.
one you said.
Mhm.
All right, Wellness Committee Liaison.
We are meeting in January,
Oh, okay,
correct?
Yep.
all right. Old business, I don't think we have an update area at this point until the survey gets going on school building infrastructure. Is there any new business anyone would like to see in the next meeting? Agenda? No? No? Okay. Board member comments.
I have a comment.
Okay.
I would just echo what Dr. Baird said about the Veterans Day program. So I got to catch the end of it this year, and I've gone for a couple of years prior. I think it's such a comprehensive program to honor our vets, and thank you to everyone that was involved in making it happen. So that was wonderful to see. And then thank you again, Cindy, and please extend that to Lisa as well for all that you did to gather information about the food service program for us.
I would just say, thank you, Ally, for everything, and good luck.
Oh, thank you. That's nice of you, Alicia. I appreciate that. I was leaning in. Do you mind if I? So no, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. I just want to thank everyone for their service. It has been an absolute pleasure. My first foray, when I first became a board member, was to help select the new superintendent. And so I really want to thank Dr. Baird for his leadership. I have just enjoyed learning from you. I think that you are just a treasure for us here in Hebron, and I just appreciate the administration so much and the teachers here. I got involved because I had I had two great preschool teachers. And when I was asked to serve, I said, okay, well, that's something that I can do, to just volunteer and kind of give back. Had no idea we were going to be facing a pandemic and all sorts of other things. So it's just been a pleasure. My advice to new board members is serve on every committee that you possibly can, and just get to. And that's what I did. I went to every committee meeting, and you just learn and you take it all in. And but we have an incredible school district, an incredible school system, and I'm just very grateful. And we're all friends. We all see each other everywhere. Our kids know each other, so it's just a wonderful place to be. So I highly encourage volunteering. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again, Ally, for everything and for all your service to the town in all the ways. Speaking of committee assignments, usually in December following municipal election, and the official swearing-in ceremony is on Tuesday at the Old Town Hall at 7 o'clock. So usually in December we kind of go over committees and officers. But so just think about if you're like the committees you have. You can't leave your committee. Alicia cannot.
She's appointed to that. She can't.
She's appointed. I can't unappoint you.
I don't know if you noticed, I'm getting so much better at understanding what's happening at the building committee meeting.
I would just, per our bylaws, I do appoint. We do ask every board member to do at least one, if not more. But if you, for some reason, you're thinking of a change or something, just to think about that, let me know, because we do that in December. So our bylaws say everyone has to do at least one. Ally, you've done several. I think we've all done several. I feel like the building committee alone is like 8 committee meetings and 8 committees, but that's all I'll say about that. Any other board member comments? All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn at 7:58 p.m.?
So moved.
All right.
Second.
All right, Ally and Kim, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I'm sure there's no discussion. Opposed, abstentions, okay, motion passes. So we are adjourned.